Trevor, be quiet, stop threatening people, produce your vehicles. That's it.
And just to your point, because you calibrated, you think Nikola is fraud?
No doubt. That's what I believe. Yes.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. If you're Trevor Milton, rip. Anyway, today we're talking more about Nikola and the allegations, the unproven allegations of fraud, lies, deception, misleading investors. You know, nothing to see here. Move along. As we heard yesterday, now there are rumours that the Department of Justice and the SEC are investigating Nikola for claims of, well, not being very honest with people. So, let's jump into this video. We're going to hear from short seller Andrew Left of Citron Research. Full disclosure, for the record, in the past, Andrew was in fact short Tesla, then came out and said, oops, that was a bad idea, we've changed our mind, no longer short. Then came out and said, oops, that was also a bad idea, we're now short again because the stock price is too crazy. So just keep that in mind. Nobody's perfect. Nobody calls it correctly 100% of the time. But let's hear what Andrew had to say about Nikola. And by the way, I'm still incredibly puzzled as to who exactly is buying Nikola stock at the moment. So let me know in the comments below. I'm really trying to understand the thinking, or perhaps the lack thereof, of people who are long Nikola stock at this point in time with everything that's unfolding. So let me know, do you own Nikola stock? Have you owned it in the past, or maybe you're shorting the stock? And finally, to Julia Chatterley, the anchor of this program, I have to say, you appear to be a beacon of reason in a sea of stupidity. I cannot believe how many fools there are in the mainstream finance media discussing companies with no fucking idea what they're talking about. I'm not here to blow smoke up Julia's ass, but honestly, over the last few months, I've actually noticed I've been watching so much media content, Tesla, Nikola, all sorts of other things. She's just stood out as a beacon of competence in a sea of incompetence. So well done, Julia. Let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you're in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get a free stock, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account and fund it with $100, you'll get a free stock valued up to $1,600. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
I feel like you saw this one coming. Good morning, and great to have you with us.
Well, I understand investors have an appetite for the next Tesla, but we have to remember that before Tesla stock actually became a phenomenon, that company went IPO. They had to actually produce the car. The car was under rave reviews by Consumer Reports, widely accepted, mass-produced, Model S. And then the stock followed suit.
This is a poignant point from Andrew. I think a lot of Nikola investors, and I use the term extremely loosely, failed to consider, Tesla. They IPO'd 2 years after they began delivering their first vehicle to customers. They built everything. The stock didn't really do much until the Model S came out. They started really ramping up production. It started winning all the awards ever, literally the best car ever, like literally ever. Oh, okay, legit company, great product, worthwhile. Meanwhile, here's Nikola over here talking, and that's all they're doing. And people somehow, I missed out on Tesla. I'm just going to invest in Nikola. Totally the same thing. Yeah.
So with Nikola, we have the complete opposite. And also, please never confuse an Elon Musk with Trevor Milton. So those are two major factors.
Why?
I mean, they're two different people. For me, I saw Trevor's response on Twitter to the criticisms of his company 2 days ago. And that's really all you had to see. He put out a 3-minute profanity-laced rant that was childish, amateurish, had no intellectual vigor to it whatsoever. Not at all what Elon Musk would do. Just deliver the vehicles. That's all you have to do. It's not a schoolyard fight. It's not I'm richer than you. This is the stock market. Deliver your vehicles.
For the record, I'd say the gap between Musk and Milton, at least 5 standard deviations.
I mean, to be fair to Milton, they did put out a number of points where they said, look, this is not true. I mean, we've got a few of these here. They mischaracterized a quote by a Bosch employee that was talking about future production plans, that they'd been designing and engineering and working on their own inverters was something else. The accusation was they were just relabeling someone else's. They said that Hindenburg misrepresents their historic position on battery technology. I think what the most visual one was the Nikola One, their first prototype, where they acknowledged that when we saw a video of this vehicle moving, it wasn't under its own propulsion. They've moved on, obviously, from the Nikola One, but this, I think, is a problem for them.
Well, it just shows the quality of the company. It's the honesty of the company.
Believe it or not, yesterday in the comments on one of my Nikola videos, I actually saw someone defending the fact that they rolled a truck down a fucking hill and tried to pass it off as in motion because it was 2016. Like, the guy could not infer that this says something about the honesty and the integrity, the ethics, the morals and the principles of the people leading this company. It was 4 years ago. It doesn't matter at all. I guess this is the kind of people who's still buying Nikola stock today, right?
When you're paying $10, $15 billion for a startup company with an unproven product, you would like to think that what they put out is actually true, and what you see, what your eyes see, is actually what it is. So now them backtracking, saying, well, we never actually said that the truck was moving on its own propulsion, doesn't really hold much weight with investors. And like I said, and when you hear Trevor respond to it, it just does not give you the comfort that I would want as an investor. So that alone, when I see the company's response and their body language, makes me believe they're covering more things up. Mind you, of course there's going to be wrong things. If Hindenburg puts out a story, or any short story puts out 100 points, can I go ahead and have a straw man argument and take 3 or 4 that might not be true? Of course, but it doesn't take away from the quality of the point that this company is not what it says it is.
You were already raising concerns, and I think that's the point I wanted to make. Were you short this stock? Because then we saw the GM deal announced, the $2 billion investment, the stock price soared, and then Hindenburg came out and were like, hang on a second, we think this is fraud. Were you short?
Yeah, I was not short. After I read the report, I guess I shorted the stock. I thought it was quite obvious. The GM deal was not what it appeared to be. GM got a sweetheart deal with production and manufacturing.
Just want to take a moment here to pause and ask the question, like, what the actual fuck were Nikola thinking with this GM deal? It is the biggest red flag I've seen in months regarding this company, and there's been some doozies. Going to GM and then partnering with them to develop your cutting-edge, groundbreaking, world's most amazing pickup truck, the Badger, and not bringing your groundbreaking battery tech, your groundbreaking fuel cell technology, in fact, not bringing anything to the party, then giving GM 11% of your company and committing to up to $700 million of capital expenditures to help them build the production lines to actually build your truck, and then becoming a customer and having to buy these things and then making a profit on all the units that you're buying off them to then mark up and sell to your own customers. If this alone wasn't an enormous red flag, I don't know what is. Yet the stock went up on the news.
It wasn't a straight deal. If people remember, like Mercedes and Toyota were both early investors in Tesla. It was a whole different dynamic. So I think investors in their search for the next Tesla are grabbing onto anything. And in this case, it's Nikola. There are many EV makers. I just think the quality of management, the quality of their claims that they've made have really fallen short. And we have to remember, where was Tesla before the market gave it a $10, $12 billion market cap? Trevor, be quiet, stop threatening people, produce your vehicles. That's it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I might go out on a limb here and suggest that maybe Trevor Milton has talked his way into trouble. After all, if he wasn't making such outrageous claims for so long publicly, there probably wouldn't have been so many people like myself and many others going, hang on a minute, this guy sure does talk a lot, make some outrageous claims. Let's look into those. Oh, it's just talk. It's all hot air, is it? Oh, this doesn't look good. Trevor.
I guess he would argue that that's what this GM deal is about, given that they're using their technology, their battery technology in particular. Andrew, are you still short? Because I do think this is important. Yeah. It's a really expensive short now.
Well, I'm still short the stock. I understand it's not. There's always an ability to pull a rabbit out of a hat, and I have to respect the retail investor on the other side who will bid up anything. So when you say, am I still short? Yes, the size of position is not as big as I probably want it to be for that reason, just out of respect to the market. But I believe that Nikola is definitely covering something up, and the company's responses, their body language, and most of all, watch on his own Twitter, watch Trevor's response, and it'll make you, as a shareholder, kind of cringe in your seat a little bit.
Well, we've put an offer out to Trevor Milton and to Hindenburg to come on and talk us through, so they have the opportunity to come on. Andrew, Jim Chanos called this period of time that we're in the golden age of fraud, where we've got all this stimulus sloshing around. It effectively lifts all boats. It's tough to pick pick out the bad eggs or the sort of the companies that you have issues with, particularly in this case when it's so expensive to get hold of the stock to be able to short it? Is there a risk that we see a sort of Hertz-like situation here where even when the company's bankrupt, the stock goes up? There's a risk here that people get burned if they short this stock.
Well, if you mean Nikola, the answer is yes. I mean, retail investors can buy the stock, and the stock market's a game of supply and demand. As for the golden age of fraud, most definitely it is. We're saying, or if not fraud, we'll say misleading or dreams or unrealistic expectations. But, that's what the Fed has created, and that's the market that people are invested in. So as long as they're cautious and not too heavily invested in any one speculative investment, investors can be okay with it. But it's, as a short seller, it's truly dangerous and interesting times. I spend more, my book is definitely more long biased than short, and all my short names have definitive catalysts attached to them, or my conviction level is just way beyond things that I've never seen before. So,
yeah, you have to be, you have to have high convictions in this market if you're going to go against the tide.
You certainly do need to have relatively large kahunas to be shorting stocks in this market, I will admit. As Andrew said, I'm not a short seller. I've never shorted a stock, don't have any plans on shorting any stocks anytime soon. But I do understand that you really need a high level of conviction in your investment thesis to be even game to short a company right now. Because as Andrew pointed out, plenty of retail investors out there bidding up just about anything. I've been watching Nikola stock this week and last week and just scratching my head asking who in their fucking right mind is buying the stock right? Who is going long Nikola stock at this point in time? It truly baffles the mind.
And just to your point, because you calibrated, you think Nikola is fraud?
No doubt. I that's what I believe. Yes.
He said it, not me.
Come back soon, please, sir. And thank you for waking up so early. Andrew left there for Citron Research. And as I mentioned, open invitation for Nikola and Hindenburg to get back on the show and come and talk to us about both of these issues.
As much as I would love to see that happen, Julia anchoring a discussion between Hindenburg Research and Nikola, I have a funny feeling it's pretty unlikely that we'll ever see that event take place. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and stake using the links below. Deposit $100 in your WeBull account and you'll get a free stock valued up to $1,600 and stake, spin the roulette wheel, you'll either get Nike, GoPro or Dropbox. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.